Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you this morning?
Alhamdulillah. I'm headed into the Sunday school. I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. It's a good, nice morning. Very nice morning.
Beautiful.
I, I missed your midnight call.
I
I
know.
saw
I
that
had
one there.
fell asleep with my grandson, and then after I finished listening to the video, and then
Hmm.
when I looked up, I had a miss. But anyway, I tried to call you. I knew you probably were sleeping.
Yeah, I was knocked out for
I had both
sure.
of them with me last night. I made them go to bed early. Well, it wasn't really long. They went upstairs with me, and I laid down. I went and got them after I had spoken with you, and I put them in the bed.
Okay, okay. I sent you an article this morning that is just interesting that it appeared after what you told me about your own revelations of yesterday. So I don't know if you have a chance to read it at some point in time today. It's by and about Michelle Obama.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of resonated with what you were saying yesterday.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Omar.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, alhamdulillah.
Okay, good. So I just found out, I think maybe yesterday, maybe the day before, that I missed the April or the first meeting for the 50-year celebration. I guess it would have happened, what, April the 2nd or something?
Yeah, I think
Somehow,
so. Yeah.
somehow it ended up in a different folder than where it should have. And if Sister Kalita hadn't said something to me Friday, I probably would not have even known that the meeting happened because Sister Martha has sent out an email over the past couple of days, kind of outlining what you and I and your wife had talked about in that meeting, as far as like things that we're going to work on individually
Yes.
for our 85 to 95 thing. So I apologize to you and anybody else because I 100% totally missed that.
No problem. What we're doing is to develop out their ideas.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Imam Tariq.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are things in the great state of Mississippi?
Good, good. And I
Glad
pray
to
the
hear.
same. I pray the same for you
Yeah, it's nice here this morning.
and everyone else.
So I think Rabani is joining. He's in Ethiopia, so it's taking him a moment. There he is. Assalamu alaikum, brother Rabani.
Doing, bruh?
Assalamu alaikum. All right.
Alhamdulillah.
Are you still in Ethiopia?
You got it.
All right. All right.
Yes, indeed.
So have you you completed making up all the days that you missed in the fast?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay.
indeed. Yeah. Plus the extra 6 fasting days. So
Alhamdulillah.
perfect. Yeah.
All right.
How's everything
That is-
going?
It's no complaints here.
Yeah.
Going well.
So I haven't had the chance to get a good single till today. Today I'm at the hotel, so it's a
Excellent.
good internet.
So okay. So Imam Tariq, will you open this up this morning? We were waiting on some other people, but we'll let them drift in.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Ameen. All right. Well, welcome, Sister Martha. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum to you this morning.
And
Good to see
welcome
you.
to you. Finding this voice thing is tricky sometimes. But assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you so much. And I mean.
So we've got a few other people I'm sure that will be joining us for the sober. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about before they just kind of totally skipped my mind. Number one is we had talked maybe about 3 weeks ago about restarting collective conversations tomorrow on the 28th. But I don't know if anyone has had an opportunity. I know that Imam Talib was going to reach out to someone as far as being a guest for tomorrow evening, but we'll probably have to wait until he comes on to find out how successful he's been. I haven't heard anything one way or another from him. I don't know if anyone else has. But barring having a guest, I did want to throw it out as to whether or not we could simply have a roundtable discussion tomorrow evening if there is no guest. So just keep that in mind, and maybe we'll wait for Imam Talib and Adam, if possible, for them to join us and others before making that decision. But that is something to think about. The second thing, and I'm glad Brother Omar is here, is I wanted to get up to speed on where we are on the 50-30-20 plan booklet, training manual, whatever we're decide to call it, that entire program. Where are we on
Assalamu alaikum. So,
that?
right after Ramadan, we were able to get back on track with that, and it is completed. So I am now getting ready to purchase the ISBN numbers for hard book and for the ebook. And the next steps will be working with Imam Talib to get the ebook onto the website so that people can purchase it, etc. And then for those folks, we have to figure out how those folks who want to order a hard copy, how we're going to go about getting those hard copy to individuals when those are ordered.
Okay.
So that's where we are, Brother Everett.
Okay. Do we have an idea of what the hard copies are going to cost us to produce?
Yeah, to produce, it's about $12, somewhere in
Okay.
there.
Okay.
That's without shipping and handling. So of course we have to come up with a cost structure
Hmm.
that is reasonable for the workbook.
Okay. And as far as the ebook itself, what are we looking at? Something in the, $5 to $10 range or something like that for the ebook?
I think that's reasonable. Again, that would be something that the group would have to decide how much they want to charge for the ebook. That would be simply something that someone can purchase and download from it, directly from the website.
Okay. So obviously using the website is a positive. Have we also thought about using Amazon or any of the other book selling sites for the ebook?
Not for the ebook, but for the hard book, we were definitely, at least we were having some thoughts around definitely having the hard book available on Amazon and other platforms. That
Okay.
was the reason for getting the ISBN number so that people can quickly find it on those different platforms.
Okay. Why not the ebook? Why wouldn't we do the ebook on other platforms like Amazon? Is it a
Sure.
cost factor or what?
No, I just never, considered selling the ebook on other platforms other than the
Website.
Graceline's website to
Hmm.
draw traffic there, etc.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense for us at this point. So the cost for creating the identifying number, what are we looking at there?
So I am going to I just have not sat down at the computer and looked at the cost for securing an ISBN number.
Hmm.
That was going to be something that I took care of, as well as the first initial printing of the hard book, just to make those available, and then whatever profit is generated can continue to support, the additional printing and additional, support for other books, etc.
Okay. And so just from an accounting and a tax standpoint, I mean, that's going to be counted as a full gift to Graceline, obviously, all of that.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. So we just have to make sure we document everything and get all that to Adam
That's correct.
so we don't miss any of that. I would, and you can talk to Adam about this as to, I don't know necessarily how it works with nonprofits as opposed to for-profit corporations, but just as a cost recovery thing, if it's possible to do it as a loan so that in the future you can recover some of that. I mean, I don't know your own thinking on that, but I think that's something that's possible. I mean, I know we run this thing kind of out of our own pockets to a certain extent. It's just it seems like publishing is a man. It's a heavy cost business. You know, that's why a lot of publishers don't stay in business. Um, Publishing houses because it's a cost intensive business. You're always looking. But anyway, that's just a thought.
Um, I was going to go to, I don't know if you are familiar with Lulu .com. They
No, I'm not. I'm
print
not.
books for you. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, they can print the books at a order. They're uh, anybody can go onto their website and have a book, printed, published, or have all of the works, all those ISBN numbers, everything done
Okay.
right there on their platform. So I was looking at their services and kind of comparing what other
Okay. Okay.
Also, I don't know, in reference to what you're talking about publishing, but I do know Imam Abdulaziz has his publishing company, it's Ashifa Incorporated, and he publishes books all the time out of New York, and he does the ISBN, the copyright, and he sends it off for print and it delivered. I know the last ones got delivered to me took less than 2 weeks. And the first book he did for me was like maybe 6 years ago. But it's Ashifa Incorporated, Our Narrative. And he's part of RWDM community. He's been doing a lot of publishing in New York. But he doesn't do a whole lot of, I guess, proofreading unless you want him to do that. Basically, I sent him my Microsoft Word doc. He set it up for me. He got it published. He he also got the copyright. And he sent it off to print, and I received the finished product. Very nice, high gloss, high quality finished product for a reasonable price. The last set I had got 75 of one book, 75 books, and it was like 300 and something dollars for all of that. I don't know. He gave me a discount though, because again, of my previous association with him, my relationship.
Hmm.
However, he does that also for other people if they, or from my understanding, I've heard him talk with people, and he's printed some books for some other people in our community. And anytime he has
Okay.
discounts, he can apply those. Inshallah.
What are those, Sister Khalid? Are those hardcover, soft cover?
You
What
choose
you?
the cover, whatever you
Okay.
choose. Mine, I got this. I didn't want the hardcover,
Hmm.
but he has them published some hardcover.
Okay.
I wanted it
Okay.
flexible so the children can put them in their book bags and stuff. But they
All right.
last.
Well. Okay. Share. I mean, basically, it's Brother Omar and I'm going to say Imam Talib are involved in that. If you either in the chat or individually, just reach out to them and share that information, with them. And of course, they're both on here. In fact, Assalamu alaikum, Imam Talib. So they're hearing what you're saying as we speak, and that's just another option for us.
Yeah, and I have to go through a whole lot of red tape, but when I sent the same book to another publishing company, it was approved. They wanted to publish, but of course it was a lot more they were asking
Hmm.
for. And they were saying they were going to promote it in different places, but I wasn't into all that. I just really wanted to get it circulated in our community first and
Okay.
work that way. So inshallah, I can use it and I choose where I want to send it. I don't want to send it
Hmm.
to Amazon and all the other places right now. And I don't want their edit either. But they had some good suggestions on the cover.
Okay.
I'll put that in the chat.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Talib. I did see your bright, cheery face, so I know that you're there.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Obviously, I'm late, but I thought I had gotten the corrected flyer, the collective conversation flyer to Flip Calls and to Masjid Muhammad's newsletter, only to discover that I never resent Flip Calls the corrected flyer that had an S at the end of conversation to
Mm.
make it plural. And I didn't send it to Masjid Muhammad at all. So I took a few minutes this morning to do just that. So
Okay.
so it's the same flyer that I sent us. I guess it may have been a couple of weeks ago now. But it's been corrected grammatically.
Okay.
But what was the gist of the discussion about publishing?
Brother Omar has, and I'm sure maybe he's communicated this to you already, he has really completed the work on the 50-30-20 plan
The
booklet.
workbook? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I was.
And,
Yeah, he went through that with us. Okay.
okay. Yeah. And he was just updating us. I'd asked the question of where it was, and he was updating us on where you guys were at as far as moving ahead with publishing, creating the ebook, and also publishing either a hard or soft copy version of it. And he gave us some information on one of the publishers, or maybe the primary publisher, that he was investigating using. Sister Kalita had worked with one of the brothers in our community on publishing uh, one or more of her books, and she was
Okay.
also sharing that information with us.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now with these publishers, from what I was hearing, they provide you with the ISBN. Do they provide the Library of Congress catalog number too, that you
I
know?
believe so. Brother Omar, you can jump back in anytime that you want. Sister Kalita is the same. I believe that is true, that they're basically cradle to the grave on doing all this stuff.
Okay. All right. Okay. Uh, we have, so I know, oh, I see. Okay. I'm kind of putting two and two together now. So Kalita's publications are separate publications that she's done with out of New York,
Mm-hmm.
if I caught that correctly. Okay. And then Omar's is a separate company.
Correct.
But I didn't get the name because his he was breaking up when I came on. So Omar, what was the name of the publisher that you were using?
Yes, it's lulu.com, LULU.com.
Okay. And is this going to be an actual publication?
Yes, it's going to be a workbook. Yes, a hard copy of a workbook. Yes.
Hard copy of a workbook. Okay. All right.
And an ebook too.
Okay. Okay. A flip book? You know?
Going to be in PDF.
Okay.
Because Imam Mutabashir felt that a PDF would be better for people that may want to work off their computer. They could
Right.
just fill in the information if they wanted to edit the PDF worksheets, etc.
Right.
So he felt it was better to put it as a PDF.
All right. So here's my question relative to that. This is a for sale ebook.
That is correct. For sale ebook as well as hard book. Yes.
Okay. Um, let me see if I'm able to have my wife give me some information to share with you on publishing for sale ebooks that will only allow for the user who purchases it.
Okay.
Because we've done some extensive investigation on this, and one of the things we are currently marketing a masterclass ebook or flip pages with 15 videos, $149 for the book. Right now, we're marketing with a $49 discount, so you can get it for $100. But when you purchase it, you will get a code that is unique to you that only allows you access to the book. And you can't share it with somebody else. So
Yeah, that's how they do in college. Yes, go ahead.
You said, were you commenting on what I was saying, Kalita, or?
Yes, sir. I said that's how they do in college. When you have the books, you have a number you have to type in an access code to access it.
Right, and it's for you only.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can't share it. They want you to
Yes.
purchase.
Yes. So that's what we have with our book. And I just want to make sure that no sales are being lost because people download the PDF and then share it with others without having to pay for it. So I'll get that information and I'll share it with you. In fact, I'll share it with the group, in case there's any other interest with people who are thinking about publishing ebooks for sale.
That sounds good.
Okay. What else did I want?
Well, the other thing we touched on earlier before you joined us, Imam Talib, was collective conversations and our thought of restarting that program tomorrow. But I don't think any of us have been able to gather a guest. If we were to have the program tomorrow evening, and if that holds true that there's no guest, do we want to go ahead with the broadcast, have a roundtable discussion, or do we simply want to delay the next program for I don't know, for another week or 2 weeks or whatever until we're able to actually get someone?
Well, I'm gonna give you my opinion on it. And I will start by mentioning my failure in composing a general letter that all of us could use as some sort of opening or introduction or invitation for people that we would like to invite to present on collective conversations. Having said that, my recommendation would be for a couple of things to happen. One is, and this is a question for the body. Has anyone downloaded the flyer or distributed the flyer to any of your contacts? Printed it out, left it at the masjid or left it on a community bulletin board of some sort, to get the word out. And I guess I need to also, while I'm thinking about it, and confessing to my shortcomings, I need to get us the corrected flyer, which has collective conversations with an S, to us. I mean, that was an error that I didn't catch until after the fact. But if there hasn't been a lot of distribution other than on our website, which Flip Calls put up maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it might be 2 weeks ago tomorrow. They put it up. Then I would vote that we at least spend this week, marketing collective conversations for next Monday. What is that going to be? May the
Cinco de
5th?
Mayo.
Yeah, May the 5th.
May the 5th.
Yeah, that would be my vote. Now, if someone on this call now has distributed, that flyer to your contacts for collective conversations on Monday, and then we can always have a roundtable, and have it so that people will get in where they fit in. I mean, if we're starting at a certain time and we get 30 minutes into the program and no one has joined us, we're certainly free to end the program, because I don't think, if I remember correctly, the flyer doesn't say like 7 to 9 or anything like that. It just gives a start time. So, but I would go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going to say I'm going to vote in favor of what you just suggested, that we do a roundtable. It kind of reestablishes the program. And if you get the flyer to us today, I mean, I know just my networks, I'll be able to touch 2,000 to 2,500 people. Obviously, 5 of them might show up, but at least I will get it out to about 2,500 people. And,
Right.
we start building that consistency ourselves. Right.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I mean,
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Concerning the flyer, I added it to my PowerPoint presentation where I, show people businesses or upcoming events.
Okay.
I put it on there yesterday when I had it there yesterday for my entrepreneurs presentation that I do every Saturday.
Okay.
And also, I have a question concerning, I put the 20 50 30 20 plan. Will that be a wholesale quantity and price for the book?
That's a great question. Yeah, I saw that question in chat. So I think that's something that we as a group, once we know all the numbers as far as what it actually is going to take to produce either the ebook, what we're selling that for retail, and the hard copy, that, yeah, we should be able to set a wholesale price for those individuals that want to do what I think you have in mind. So let's wait until we have, all of our numbers, and then I think we can probably be able to figure out a reasonable wholesale price for yourself and for anybody else, like booksellers, for example, um, or anybody else that wants to do that. What does the rest of the audience think about that?
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
good with it. Yeah.
I agree. Martha Nyla here. I was just double checking to see had I sent the flyer out by way of our email, but I had not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm
when we
getting
get
ready to
that,
send it back to us. So
okay, excellent.
um,
So I had another idea that popped into my head last week, and I also wanted to. This is something, full disclosure. CWSC and AM 360 have allowed me, the one and only, to have a program on AM 360 on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So it's really just kind of getting off the ground. But what I thought about, and Adam's not on here with all his knowledge of nonprofits and all that good stuff and legalities, is I wanted to talk about people making contributions to CWSC, and also people, and basically businesses, and also with us, businesses making donations to Graceline Community at any level. I mean, I would think it'd be $25 and up, but I don't care. But those businesses then being mentioned by the host or host, like in the case of, our collective conversation, we're all hosts on the program, that we mention those businesses for their contributions, talk a little bit about those businesses, what they do, where they are, that type of thing. As we grow an audience, maybe that starts to have an effect of people knowing more about those businesses that are contributors. Because I hear public radio do that all the time. When they're having their fundraisers, this program is brought to you in part by so and so and so and so. It might just be a nursery business that sells treats, but they made $100 contribution or something uh, to a nonprofit, public radio, public TV. So also just wanted to throw that out there and see what individuals thought about that.
Speaking from the avenue of broadcasting and being a not-for-profit, and from the FCC connection, what we've come to understand is that third parties, I think what they said about churches, I researched it, and they find a church that was on a radio broadcast, and that was promoting and a third party thing. But I think when they checked, they wanted to make sure that they had a document in order, in connection, if it's going to be a fundraising process. But now on to the education, just educating, but you did mention asking, for funds. See, AM 360 does do a biannual telethon. So whether I don't know, we just have to, like you say, invest more time into studying, seeing whether it goes beyond uh, our telethons and incorporated where it's an educational table but at the same time promoting businesses. I think it's what you're saying, for-profit businesses,
Well, no,
and
not
contributing
necessarily
to the not-for-profits.
not necessarily promoting them, but acknowledging them. So, like if you say that, thanks to Coca-Cola Corporation for, their $1,000 donation to CWSC. It helps
Uh-huh.
us provide
Okay.
programming, uh, this type of programming to our audience. We really appreciate
Sponsorship.
that. Right.
We
That,
have what we call a sponsorship letter that we acknowledge, and then yes, that's permissible. We do
mhm,
have sponsors that can do a public service announcement too, but and that will fall in that category because
right.
of the platform that we're on. It can be dubbed as a sponsorship public service announcement, and especially when they're donating rather than our listeners just going to, it's like a two-edged thing. Like you're watching a show, and then in between you get these commercials about Tide or Cheer or what have you, and before you know it, unconsciously you go and you say, "Oh, I need some detergent," and you go buy Tide rather than buying True detergent. But
Well, I mean, of
alhamdulillah.
course. Right. I mean, but so that would be, you mentioned a company, True Detergent, that I'm sure contributes to CWSC. I haven't seen them contribute to Graceline yet, but if they did, and we could acknowledge them on our program, just like we should probably step back and acknowledge Low Country Alliance and, Imam Talib's companies, Imam Tariq's companies, if, for contributions that are made by them. Those companies are separate from the individual, right? So you can actually acknowledge those contributions. That's what I think. And we don't go on, if you have like you said, you have a twice a year fundraiser. We're not talking about doing a fundraiser on collective conversation. We're simply talking about acknowledging, or I'm talking about acknowledging people who do make contributions,
Yes. Okay.
because that
Alhamdulillah.
may actually spur other people to make contributions so they can be acknowledged on the program, right?
Right. And it will show that it's a two-way street. That the sponsors are there, which provide beyond just that, just CWSC. Take it onto another uh, height, is because CWSC indirectly they're contributing to Doctors Without Borders, to Malala Fund, to
Right,
what's the name, Mogahad,
right,
uh,
right.
all of those, and the shelters and all. That's what CWSC does outside of its office administrative costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So does that make sense to everybody else, or am I kind of stepping off the end of a cloud or something there? What do you guys think?
It does. It does make sense.
All right. Well, I'm good. I'm good with that. What else is on the table this morning?
Um, I haven't given this I haven't thought this all the way through, but I'm trying to, and maybe some of us can help develop this, but I'm trying to think of um well, first let me start with this. The goal would be to attract more people to our weekly um, collective conversations. And because we are an entity that's dealing with financial empowerment, I want to try to think of a weekly contest that we could offer in the form of some sort of game centered around um, finance, financial language, um, perhaps giving, just by example, um, putting a question on the floor that you have a balance on a credit card of $362.14 at a annual percentage rate of 17.6%. Um, what is the interest going to be on your next bill statement? If this was your ending balance. And
Okay.
so it'd be questions, centered around, like, we could take something from the 50-30-20 plan, like one of the scenarios. You have, you get in X number of dollars every 2 weeks. Your rent is due. You've only got X number of dollars. What would be your strategy to make sure your rent is paid, avoiding or creating a late payment on XYZ, but XYZ may be a late payment on 2 different items that have different interest rates. And you've got to choose which one you're going to sacrifice in order to make sure your rent is paid. I mean, just different sort of questions that people would have to answer in a series. And it may not be more than, it might be 7 questions. And the person who gets it right, or gets the highest number correct, would get a prize, would get, I don't know, a $25 gift card. And in keeping with something Edward just said, they could possibly get a gift card from one of our businesses. Like, one of my businesses could sponsor a gift card for hair care products, shampoos, Ocean's gel. I mean, they could go to our website after receiving their gift card, place their order, put in their gift card number, and receive their merchandise. I mean, so I'm trying to think of what would keep people coming back every week, gaining knowledge on money, on finances, I mean, there could even be some questions on there relative to, say, something from the man Tariq's entrepreneurial program. Or questions from, I think I mentioned Omar's already, but questions from, my avoid a messy death. What's the difference between a will and a trust? Or if you, where's the best place to keep your will? And maybe there'll be some multiple choice like answers that you would have to, to pick. But something that's going to keep people coming back every week, not only because they're learning something, but because there's some sort of prize attached to it. Because
I
keep
felt
in
like
mind, I've still got long sleeve t-shirts, polo shirts, hats, bags, with Graceline's logo on it. So perhaps those could be one of the prizes.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I was going to mention that we could probably slip in there. Yeah, I think Sister Kalita, did you have your hand up? Or there was someone that had a question, I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, this thought ain't complete. My preference would be to come to us with a better skeleton of what this could look like.
I'm like
Well, like Islam.
another thing would be like to go to other nonprofit organizations. I know sometimes they have education requirements for people who stay there, like the Women and Children's Shelter, the Salvation Army, and we can propose to do workshops for them. I've seen programs where they offer workshops to their participants, especially if they are in public housing or in a situation that would benefit them learning about whatever topic that could help them be in a better situation. And definitely finances is one that's general that could be applied to different situations. We have a men's shelter here in Charlotte as well. But look at populations that, work with the people that are in leadership in those organizations and propose it to them. Would you like us to come in and do a online workshop? This is what we offer. And because usually they have to offer their people something. I know that they have to be in some type of training or in some type of school in order to get certain benefits. So that could be another way we could look into that. I can look into that, inshallah.
And to add to that, the senior citizens definitely is an audience that want to know. Many times, family members don't know. You may think that the information is widespread as to Talib, as you mentioning about um, the. I think you didn't say death and dying. You said something in reference to death, but
Right.
But their wills and things. Because I just had a situation where my son, his uncle had kept pressing on him to talk to your dad about his will. 2 years have gone by. His dad, the day that he transitioned was the day that my sons, they saw a commercial on television about wills, and my son was prompted. He had no desire in it at first, my son. And then he said, "Oh, Pops, how about your will?" Pointing to the television. And his dad said, "Oh, I have to revisit it." But he never told him where it was.
Mhm.
And he went into the bedroom, laid on the bed, and that was it. He was gone.
Right.
And so this was just a couple of months ago. So
Mhm.
we're sometimes though we hear it, we take it for granted. And so this educational piece is a reminder, but it gets specifically into those who don't want to face, maybe I'm in my 80s and 90s, I'm 100 even, And
Mm.
depending on family members, now maybe there's some dementia or whatever, and depending on the family members to remember. So my mother is 92, and so now I'm beginning to ask her questions and wanting to know, not specifically about the will, but things around the house. You know, the property, is it an heir property? Is it able to be made heir property? And is there a homeowners association that doesn't regard, doesn't allow that? I don't know. That you definitely just have to sell it. Can't, no one can inherit it. I don't know. So those are things that I would love to know more about. And it takes families doing a SWOT. I call it a SWOT analysis, just truly looking at what's beneficial for the family, for self and family, but definitely family members, those who are just taking life as it is and not concentrating on those things.
Mhm. Right.
Thank you.
Now
And doing something
that's a
different, because many people,
that,
they're not really tuning into Zooms like that unless it's something, like you said, beneficial. But nowadays, a $25 gift card may do something, but it has to be something that they could purchase on their own. I don't know, hair
Mhm.
products and things like that, maybe um, just a general $25 gift certificate to Amazon or to Walmart or something would be great.
or
But
or or just
you really have
$25
some great
straight up.
ideas.
Give me look, give us your address and we'll send you a $25 check.
I mean,
Yeah.
Then you
today
you
is not
do
going to go
with it
too far, but
you do
it
with
will.
it what you want to do.
That's right. Now that would be a greater incentive. Otherwise, they will see that it's a promotion for businesses wanting you to come and shop with them, like those catalog companies used to do. You think you're getting $100 purchasing voucher, and then you realize it's just I can only shop at your place.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they also have because I know I've gotten them. Like I use the $25 denomination. You can get a $25 Visa card. I mean, just send them that, and they can use that $25 on anywhere Visa is accepted.
Right, because they may need gas in the car, right?
Right?
Yeah, they
I mean,
see you get the minimum nowadays.
$25 will get you a bowl of rice and a chicken sandwich, and that's just enough to fill your belly. So
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just, right now, it was just a thought. It hasn't been thought all the way through, but I'm trying to get into a marketing mode. I mean, we got the ideas. We've produced the hard copy of a flyer. We've got a website. We've got all the tools that we need. We just got to start. We just got to start marketing what it is that we've got, and we certainly have an extensive knowledge base with those of us who are on this call now, as well as those of us who have access to others that have expertise, and are willing to share it. So we got all the pieces. We just, it's like we're like a we're like a new business where we've invested $250,000 in equipment and furniture and fixtures and getting everything all ready. And then we're going to spend $50 on a sign to let people know we got $250,000 of merchandise, or we got $250,000 investment here that we want to tell you about. So I'm trying to do more than just putting up a $50 sign. I want our sign to be reflective of the people who are working on this, the investment that we've already made in terms of time in putting ourselves together, and the work product that we've produced so far. How do we market that and let people know that we have this invaluable information for you? We got a workbook that'll help you get out of debt. that'll help you stop living from paycheck to paycheck, but who knows about it? You know, we got somebody on this on the line that can give you financial and tax advice. Somebody that can give you information on either becoming, maintaining, or expanding your entrepreneurship. We got somebody that can help you with small investments and um, uh, savings and things of that nature. I mean, we've got different people with different backgrounds, but nobody knows. Nobody knows that we're doing this.
And to assalamu alaikum. And as you were speaking, I recall going in stores, what clothing, whatever, and they had began this, I guess, over 10, 15 years ago, wanting to know what your zip code was, your phone number and your zip code.
Right.
And because that was for their tracking, their marketing people, to see sale wise, where was the sale, where were the products mostly sold, or what kind of products, and all of these research kind of things that would help them know, okay, well, we need to get more over into this area because of that reflection. So the zip code, I think, is definitely, as we share the information, ask the questions, who's really taking in, where the zip codes that's taking it in,
Right.
so that we
Right.
know how to target and spread it out even more.
Right. And I think that's one of the questions. I think that's one of the questions that we ask on the free membership application. So that the idea was we could look at those zip codes regionally and perhaps make a decision that we could offer, for example, an in-person conversation in an area where we may be surrounded by 300 members within a, I don't know, 50 to 75-mile radius of wherever we're going to offer the program. So, I mean, there are all kinds of, I guess, like internal algorithms that we could analyze to determine what we're going to do next. You know, but I'm trying to just lead myself into a marketing mode, to figure out how we get this information out to people before we start thinking in terms of what more information we're gonna start gathering. Because we haven't, you know, we really haven't made a serious dent in having a consistent number of people come into our Zooms or into our chats. They interested in when they hear what it is we've got to say. They're interested, but we just need more. We need to do more. I need to do more in order to be able to better, to better market this. I can see it coming, but I know that I know I'm going to have to do more in order to make it to make it come into fruition. It's just going to be it's just going to be some work. It is truly going to be some work.
One of the things, and I think at one time I thought that I was aware of an organization or a tool that did what I'm about to explain. And I realized that it was one of the people that worked for me that probably actually put all this stuff together. A much younger person that knows a bunch about this stuff. But there are tools out there that they will take something like our flyer, the flyer that you just created, for collective conversations. And basically, you input where you want that flyer distributed and when you want it distributed, and how often you want it distributed, the cadence. And then that particular tool does all that for you. If you want it sent to Instagram, if you want it sent to LinkedIn, if you want it sent, put on Facebook, if you want it here, you want it there, and you want it done on this day at this time or whatever, that particular tool will, I guess it's probably an app, will do that on your behalf, that you don't have to go back in and be thinking, oh gosh, I need to post this, I need to get this out. That
Well,
you
what
set
is
up
that
your
app?
I don't know. I need to
Oh,
find it because it just came
okay.
to my mind that I'm going to say back in 2017, 2018, which is light years ago now. It's got to be much more advanced now. That we actually did something. My company, we actually did something. I didn't do it. Somebody that worked for me set it all up, but we actually did something in that regard, and it was effective. People that we had no clue existed now knew who we were and were calling us. I mean, it was a segment. We were doing a particular thing, but there's got to be even better tools out there now that do the same thing. They're probably not going to be free, but at least maybe I think I'll spend some time today just running a search to see if anything pops up that fits what's in my head. Because that's the issue that I run into marketing wise, is the scheduling. When's the best time? What's the best audience? Because there are certain audiences going to be receptive and certain audiences are not going to be that receptive. And who are we trying to target? Even if it is a tough nut to crack, who are we targeting? Which segment of the market are we trying to reach? And are we going about it the right way, or is there information out there that says this is the best way to get to this market?
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you're advertising on Fox, I will never see your ad. Right? So you're not targeting me if you're advertising.
So while you were mentioning that, I found something called Hootsuite. It's a social media
that's
marketing and management.
what it was. That's what we used back then.
Hootsuite. Okay.
Yeah, Hootsuite.
Okay. There are others. There's Hootsuite, there's Sprout Social, there's HubSpot, Buffer, CoSchedule, Plannable, Sendable. They got, man,
okay.
They got it for you. And look, and then after they give you those 9, they tell you there's 3 more. Man, look, so that's what AI is. All you got to do is think of it, and AI will take it from there.
Okay. So I think I actually still have a Hootsuite account. I don't think I've used them. Probably the last time I used them was pre-COVID.
Okay.
Because the world changed in the way that we approach things once COVID hit. I mean, all kinds of things closed and other things opened up, like Zoom. I'd never used Zoom before COVID.
Yeah, because I'm seeing here, man, they give you pretty much step-by-step instructions. Find the right social media management tool, Second is set up your account. Third is connect your social media accounts. Fourth is to configure posting preferences. And fifth is to craft your message.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they've got once made easy. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this more closely. And in fact, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm gonna look more closely, not only for us, but for myself as well. Yeah, this is yeah, okay. So this has become another Graceline benefit. I don't know if I didn't have this discussion with you all, if I would even look towards this. Yep. So yeah, let's look a little closer at this, because that might be the answer to our marketing concern. And
Mm-hmm.
if we can see some demonstratable results, then it certainly could end up being worth a recurring monthly fee, or whatever these companies charge to do that. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what it is, but I do know that should we get something like this and we start to see an increase in participants, then that would say to me, we need to keep working on whatever it is that's bringing in more people, not only retaining those who first joined, but then looking to figure out what we do to expand that, to expand that base.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was you, Edward, that had an idea, seemed like eons ago now, when we first did the weekly, what was that we did? It was a webinar that we did. This is back when the sister out of Atlanta was still with us.
Sister Amira, yeah.
Yeah, we were doing those. And one of the things that you did, or at least I remember you encouraged us to do, was to send out some sort of feedback survey.
Right. Yeah.
So that we would know or get some idea where we needed improvements, where people interests were, what we could have done better, what we could have, got rid of. So I mean, I can see the potential for us having this sort of Hootsuite platform or something like it, that if it does what it says it's going to do, we can be off and running. Yeah, we can we can be more like hunters and not zoo animals.
Well, I mean, it's the beauty of automation if you can make it actually work for you in a personable way. I mean, obviously the messaging that we would create if we were to use something like that, whatever our messaging is and how that touches people psychologically would be the most important thing. Because if you just put a dumb ad out there or dumb promotion, it really doesn't matter how big an audience you hit. It's just going to bounce back empty to you. So, I mean, it's still human input, but having it automated, I think, would help us because all of us, for the most part, have full lives. outside of Graceline.
Is that what we call it now? A full life? Okay.
Full life.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll take that. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I've been running into.
Every day.
Yeah, I keep running in that. That's why I can't get this letter done because I keep running into a full life. All right. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Well, anyway, I mean that's been that this could prove to be a good result for us, and so that folk don't get the wrong idea. My understanding of these different apps is they only make the process easier for you after you've done the investment work. I mean, you gotta create your social content to go across these multi-platforms, and even that is going to have to be continual. What I believe they may offer is a one-shot deal where they will distribute to those different platforms, be it Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat. I'm just naming stuff. I don't know this stuff. I'm
Right.
just naming it. Your Facebooks, your YouTubes, et cetera, et cetera. So you produce the content and then they'll spread it to all of these different platforms, but you got to have a presence on those platforms for them to spread it to.
Correct.
And where the work is going to come in for us is not only getting on those platforms, but then continually to make the content that that will be put on there. And maybe I can get around to that, because I have been talking about setting up someplace in my office where whenever I want to produce content for whatever I want to produce it for, all I've got to do is sit down in a prepared backdrop with my lighting already set up, you know, in a space that I can record short pieces of information to be posted.
Correct. Yeah, I'm about to take a course in I have to take the course to be able to use $1 million worth of equipment. They don't want me to come in and destroy their studio. So I have to take an online course that will teach me how to use all of their highfalutin equipment, this creative space that some people that I know have created.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that, and toward the exact same thing that you're talking about, of having all of that setting and being able to use the equipment. In fact, I want the equipment use more than I want the setting, because even with the stuff that we've done in the past, I would like to create what's called shorts, you know, anywhere from 45-second to 2.5-minute pieces, cut those out, the best of one of our broadcasts, for putting that stuff on Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and all that, the best of, to help induce people to come get some more of that.
Right. So having said that, one of the things that I need to do and this is with flip cars, is to create um, more, is to create more content on our, let me see, what is this? I'm trying to see, we have a name for it on our website. There's like 8 there's like 8 navigational topics that you can get to, and one of those that I think I want to have flip calls to increase, but I got to get them the content to do so, is under personal finance. And this is where people will be able to find various articles that I've already cataloged, like in just emails, some of which I've sent to you all. But I want to fill that with more content so that when people go to personal finance, they'll find all these different articles that they can read from other sources to deal with their own situation. So if you were to go there right now, and these have been up for a while, there's one on there asking the question, are you a spaver? And what is a spaver? That is someone who spends, that's the SP, to save, AVER. And
Right.
that's me. I mean, you offer me something at $7.99, but if I get 2 of them, the second one will be 50% off. That you're a spaver. You don't necessarily need that other one, but you can't
Right.
resist that. And then there's another one on there about burdened with medical bills, held in bondage, U.S. patients losing equity in homes to hospital lawsuits. How does your credit score compare to others? American average credit score at every age, see how you compare. Do you want to improve your financial condition? Nuggets forward, Braxton Key explains the importance of financial literacy. So, I mean, there's another one in there on financial self-determination. So it's these types of stories that are not only set to give people knowledge, but also to offer them some inspiration. So I mean, what is the harm in you knowing about the NBA player who spent the first, I think, like 9 months of his career living at the NBA facility that hired him? He didn't spend any of the money that he got, from signing with this particular team, and it might have been in the NFL. I have to go back and look because I saved the article. And it's those types of things that become important, for people to know about.
Right.
And no, they're not NBA or NFL players. That's not the point. It's what may inspire you to do with what little bit you have in order to follow the example of someone that has more than you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole, at least when I was looking for stories and when I was posting this up, those were the types of things that that I was looking for to help, to help change people's lives. you know, and how they view money and how they view spending. So, all right. So anyway, obviously, I got my work cut out for me here. So I got lulu.com. That was from Omar on the publication. And then I still got to do that letter. And then I want to get these articles to flip calls. Okay.
Yeah, don't forget the brother that Sister Kalita mentioned as well, who
Oh,
does
yeah,
who's
right.
involved in publishing. Just
That
so
was
we
it,
have.
ma'am. Let me see. She posted that in the chat. What did I do with it? Okay, I'll get it. Oh, here it is. Imam Abdulaziz. Okay. All right. So I got him in here as well. 646-353-0859. All right, so let me see how I can move some of life out the way so I can get to this part of life. Man, okay.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, Adam. You have been very quiet, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I sound like you.
So I'm like,
Yeah, we had a fundraiser yesterday. Well, our Prayer Muhammad Weekend School. So I had me occupied all day yesterday. And we had a guest speaker come to town. I had to gather them this morning and take them to the airport. So I just called in after I finished that task. Just listening in.
Alhamdulillah. Very good. Very good. You seem to be a little bit more relaxed. Does that have anything to do with April 15th or whatever having passed?
Well, they tricked me. I was geared towards April 15th. And then remember in the fall they had those storms.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Really devastated western North Carolina. But IRS and FEMA got together and they said, well, we're going to extend the deadline for everybody in North Carolina, Tennessee, and a couple other states to May 1.
Till when?
May 1.
May 1. Okay. So you ain't out the woods yet.
Well, I had I had about 50 extensions to prepare. I hadn't even got to by April 13th. So I said, man, I'm gonna blow some of this stuff. Then when it was extra 2 weeks, I think I can make it across the finish line.
Alhamdulillah.
So I'm still working.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Not hard, still working.
But you're still working, right? Okay. Alhamdulillah.
I said, and as I get older, I can't run like I used to do, but I still can run.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Yes, sir.
Well, I do them at the airport, and I'm back in office. I got a few more extensions to do. Got some people that begged me to get their returns done. So one Yemeni brother, I don't know what, maybe when it came through Ellis Island, if it came that way, they told, if you get an extension, we're going to deport you. It's not wanted an extension. I said, well, at least send some money out there. He don't want to send no money out there till he gets the return done. I said, man, come on, brother. So with the extra 2 weeks, I'm gonna try to get him done. Tell him I did an emergency to get this done, so I can charge him for it.
Yes, sir. Charge you emergency fee.
I don't know where this man at. Just don't want to send no money out there, man. I can't speak for him, so. But unrealistic. Other than that, it's been good. Alhamdulillah. We had a successful event yesterday, so that was good. I can share some of my war stories later on.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm just seeing this. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna review this later, but in fact, I'm just looking at something that I believe Sister Martha sent this past Friday on Imam W.D. Muhammad proposal. Yeah, so I'll need to read this a little closer. This looks interesting. Okay. Alhamdulillah. All right. So these are assignments that you've made, Sister Martha.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Yes.
Islam. Okay.
I must admit, when Omar, our meeting that I missed with him on Tuesday, whatever week that was, 2 weeks ago, I took the proposal. I spoke to Marsha Nivens, the IWDM legacy for Imam Worthy Muhammad that's going to be in Philadelphia, August 1st through the 3rd. Okay, so there are 3 groups that's been meeting, 4 actually, but the 10-year span, 75 to 85, 85 to 95, and 95 to 2008. Well, CWSC wanted to be represented in all areas. So Khalida Akbar, praise be to Allah, is representative for 75 to 85. And what we outlined was the general family because of her connection and devotion to vows and bless and other connections as far as CWSC Family Institute, Strategic Family Institute. So she's covering the 75 to 85 representation. Then 85 to 95. Omar, if you're still on, I needed to, Imam Abdul Aziz is our representative to begin meeting with you. Are you still, is he still? Okay, yes. So that's why I answered it, did the proposal for all 3 under your request, because Masha was going to send it to me, but she did say she was going to be going out of town and she wanted to get it in this week. And I go, oh, did she say Wednesday? By Wednesday? So I said, oh, Allah. I burned the midnight oil trying to get it all synchronized. And then 95 to 2008 is with Masha, where CWSC it speaks, we'll go into, 85 to 95 is about the Shura, the concept of Shura. And then in 95 to 2008, evolving into the 50-year Human Family Strategic Planning Initiatives. So that's what CWSC wanted to participate in. So all of us, different directors and all, inshallah, but definitely the board of directors for CWSC will be present to present whatever comes out of the collaboration with the other groups.
All right. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. So
yeah, Khalida wants to share.
I was on Zoom with Iman Fleming yesterday. He made it for our group. I mentioned the family, but I told him I was going to stick to CWSC presentation with that because he said it's very sensitive, and Sister Layla Muhammad was covering the family, of course, her family life, but our family, of course, we weren't talking about specifically Imam Worthy Muhammad's family.
Right. We were speaking of family development community.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I guess you'll have to express, you know what, how to do it. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. We weren't speaking about the specific family hood of Imam.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you. And this way I put the some of the presentations that the Imam has shared,
Mhm.
you know, listening and researching and shared those under those years.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I have. I don't think there's anything. No, matter of fact, I'm afraid to offer anything else because I might create some more work. I think I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead.
Well, actually ended up being a very productive meeting.
Yes, sir.
We discussed quite a bit, and
Yeah. Once
thankful
again,
to
I learned
everybody.
something. Yeah. Okay. So now
All right.
I'll get back, I'll get back to everybody on the uh on how we protect any ebooks that we might um do to, particularly those that you're charging for,
Mm-hmm.
how to avoid people sharing your PDF with someone else without paying for it. So I'll get back to us on that. And then I got my little list here, stuff I need to do. Some of it a little easier than others, but in any event, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, unless there's anything else, I think we can close out a very productive meeting.
Mm. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا حسنة أفركلتي حسنة أكينا عذاب النار. Oh Allah, give us good in this world, good in the after, and protect us from the torment of the fire. Ameen. Alhamdulillah.
I mean,
Alhamdulillah. All right, good people.
all right. Thank everybody. Everybody gonna have a wonderful day.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.